Welcome to the Property Profits Podcast. Thank you so much for jumping on today. And I'm stoked for today. I'm stoked to drop some valuable gems for you. And here's what I want to do. Here's what I want to talk about. Mobile home parks. I like to rant and rave about them. But what do you do when you get on the phone with a seller that has a mobile home park? And this got brought to my attention today. I was talking to a one-on-one client and they were looking to sell a mobile home for somebody. And what I told them is I pull expired mobile home park lists and I call the owners. I'll have a VA call the owners, see if they have an open spot. We'll contract the mobile home. If they do, we'll work something out and we'll help them out and find a mobile home and sell it to them and wholesale it to them. But what about if they want to sell their park? What questions do you ask? Here you go. Get on the phone with the seller. Hello, hey, this is such and such. Do you want to sell your mobile home park? I've been thinking about it, blah, blah, blah. What do you say? Would you mind telling me a little bit about it? What do you mean? What do you need to know? How many spots you have? We've got 15, 20, 100, 150, whatever spots. Great. Do tenants pay utilities or do you pay utilities? Is it city water? Is it city septic? Is there any zoning issues? Is this thing zoned for a mobile home park? Also, how much is this thing making per month? Those are like the core questions you're gonna ask out the gate. And I would even argue if you're just talking to somebody that's like super direct and doesn't really want to talk to you, you might even leave the zoning thing out. You can look that up. Really, all you need to know is what are they making per month? How much do they want? Ask them that because they'll always tell you how much they want, all right? And if it's city sewer, city water. If it's a well, I'm not too keen on wells, water wells, because after a certain amount of units, you're like a freaking water company, right? You don't want to do that. I don't want to say you don't want to do that. People do it. I don't want to do that. And there's liability to that. I just like city sewer. I like city water. I'll do septic systems, but forewarning, septics are a pain in the ass. They got to be serviced and all that good jazz. And when you go to resell, septic isn't looked at really positive. But I've got a couple parks that are on septic. But city water, city sewer, what are you making? How much you want? Great, you know that information. And just another thing is most park owners are gonna want premium. They're gonna want crazy numbers. But I'm gonna tell you how I calculate my offer right off the bat or see if it's something in the realm that I even wanna look at, that I wanna dive into. I use the 2% and the 1.5% rule just for my gut check. So say that they're bringing in 10,000 a month, gross. You don't have their books, you don't know. How many units you got? Oh, we got 10 units. We bring in 10,000 a month. I'm just giving you like easy numbers here. Great. Look, if this is a cash deal, run the 2%. If it's bringing in 10,000 a month, run the 2% rule. If they'll hold paper, do the 1.5% rule. So what is that? What does that look like? 10,000 divided by 1.5%. That would be your max allowable offer if they were to hold paper. What does holding paper mean? And ask them. Mobile home park owners know what holding paper means. So ask them, will you hold paper? Have you considered holding paper? Maybe with a lot down, cool, so you'd hold paper. How much would you hold? What term would you hold it for? Pry that out of them. Ask if they'll tell you what's on their mind. Most of them will. Don't talk interest, don't talk down payment, but you're gonna play hell getting into a mobile home park without a down payment. But now you're getting closer to knowing what you want or what's good for you and what's good for them. So run both those calculations, 2% if you're going to buy it cash or assign it, do the 2% rule, and 1.5% if they're going to hold paper. Now this is just like beginning steps. You do have to get their financials. You do have to dig in. I'm not saying you got a great deal because this happened, although you probably do. But if their expenses are crazy, 60% or something, then yeah, it might not be, you might have to be way steeper. But this is going to be a good rule of thumb to get you going. So 2.5% rule and 1.5%. If they're nowhere near that, then don't keep looking at it. Go to the next deal. But if they're willing to entertain that, and I'm gonna tell you what, I have an expired park list. It's probably, I had my VA pull it for me. It's probably 300 people long. And I think the first, I wanna say 50 names on the list, I contracted. Probably 3 deals. So 3 out of 50. 2 I'm gonna keep, 1 I'm gonna partner with, and the other we're raising money right now to do. So that's not super bad odds for a big ass deal. where your energy goes. That's what happens. If you're doing that for residential, you pick up residential deals. I'm doing it for these. I have a team that's doing residential. But I want to tell you about some powerful ways to pick these up also if they want a lot of money. And I've briefly said this in a previous episode or two, but I wanted to touch on it again because I got an LOI signed today. And here's another thing. An LOI is a letter of intent. If you're talking to mobile home park owners, you can send a letter of intent. You just Google it, letter of intent, wherever state you're in, or there's custom ones online you can use. But what that is not a long ass contract. It's just, hey, this is what I want to offer you. These terms, this price, whatever. If it's something you're cool with, sign here. This doesn't bind us, but at least we know that we're serious and it's on paper. That's awesome. You don't have to go through these lengthy contracts if everybody's not agreeable. I did a letter of intent recently that I got signed today for a lease option on a 130 unit mobile home park. City sewer, city water, sub-metered, not my favorite, but it's sub-metered so we can build back. They wanted 3 times what I would pay for it. They wanted $1.6 million. The income it was bringing in based off the calculations I gave y'all, the 1.5% is like 500,000 or 550 or 600, somewhere around there. And I was like, man, how many spots you have? They had 130 spots. How many are rented? 30. In my head, a huge value add. So what did I do to get creative? And I want you to think like this because I created a really good deal out of this. I said, look, what if I could give you the 1.6 million in 2 years? Like, how are you gonna do that? I said, I'm gonna fill up this park. I'm gonna lease this park from you. How much are your bills, everything? 10 grand a month, cool. I'll pay you 10 grand a month. I'm gonna collect all the rents. I'm gonna pay you. Cool with that? Yeah. Anything I make above that, I make. And then when it's time to buy, I buy for full price. And they ended up we countered back and forth. I sent an LOI, they edited, I edited, went back and forth a few times. So we're doing a year-long lease option with the right to extend for another year with the option to purchase for $1.6 million, which is cool because, and I have to put in at least 10 homes a year. Now it might sound scary, but here's how I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna find local private investors that want to buy those homes and get 15% return on their money. Or people like on Marketplace that have nice homes that'll sell or finance them to me. Just stuff like that. I'll get super creative also on this deal because I know it can get capital intensive. I don't like putting myself in those situations. I'm going to partner on this deal. So I'm going to charge somebody a $50,000 entry fee to partner with me. I'm interviewing a few people right now. And they have to put up the $25,000 deposit as well, which is refundable at the end of our lease. And the $50,000 goes to my acquisitions company. And then we're 50-50 partners on the park. Expenses, income, everything moving forward. I think it's a hell of a deal to give somebody, and it's good for me. I get to split expenses with somebody. I get to make money on the front end so I can pay my staff. My wholesale company makes money. They pay the deposit. That's badass. And I get 130 units richer. I own a big ass park and it's cool. And I don't have as much headache and worry about cash and all this stuff. So you get really creative with this stuff. But there's a big factor when you're dealing with these mobile home park owners, know and trust. I went and met these people in person after we talked. First we did a phone call. Then we did a Zoom call. Then I went and met the son in person. Then I walked the place. And then I got on another Zoom call and they like me. They feel like they know me. They feel like they trust me. I sold them. I didn't sell them like a dream, anything. This is what I wear. My tank top, my shorts, my flip-flops, my hat. I work out. Like, I don't like to dress up. And they were like, looked at me weird at first. And I was like, this is me. I manage parks. I do a lot of real estate. I do podcasts. This is what I would like to do. Here's the deal that I feel comfortable with. They liked me because I was me. I didn't dress up like something I'm not, act like something I'm not, and ask them to do this deal with me. I was me. I was straight with them on my thoughts, my numbers. We edited LOIs going back and forth, and that's how it came to be, right? I bought several parks that way now. So anyways, when you're talking to park owners, how much do they make per month? How many spots they have? Is it city sewer, city water? Are the units metered or are they sub-metered? Metered meaning they'd have to set up their own utilities like you would at a house. Or was there a sub-meter on the meter that we got to go read and bill you back for? those are really the most important factors that you could get a quick litmus test on. And if you have this long list of leads you could pull from mobile home park, you could just be like, hey, would you do this? Would you do this? Would you do this? Boom. Yeah, I think I'd do that. Then you could get the nitty gritty. Then you could get them to know, and trust you. So I think I gave you enough valuable information for you to get going on this journey. And I appreciate you hopping on this episode with me this evening. If any of this resonated, if you learned anything, please share this with a friend. There's ways to leave comments now, like on Spotify and Apple and all that stuff. Leave comments because I want to hear what your feedback is, what your thoughts, what you would like to hear more of, what maybe you're struggling with, or heck, if it's something that you have to contribute, like you're like, hey, you missed that, this would be really good, add that and leave an honest review. If you like it, if you don't like it, if you think I should talk less, talk more, give you this, that, I appreciate the hell out of it. I really want the algorithm to pick this podcast up so it can get in front of more people and I can provide more and more value. So thank you so much again.